Good morning, everybody. I'm Christine Weber with the Mentor Area Chamber of Commerce, and today we are at Revolution Pizza. Hi, Ralph. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Good. Thanks for meeting with us today. I want to get started on talking about, before we went on camera, we were talking a little bit about how you got started and how you became the owner of Revolution Pizza.
Excellent. Long story short is around the COVID, I lost my full-time career job, and then it was managing some pizza shops, about 15 of them in 5 states. And then after losing my job, I said, you know what, instead of working for somebody else, even though it's March, it was right before the COVID started, I decided to open my own pizza shop in Willowick. And then 6 months later, I opened this one as well. So I went pretty big and pretty strong with that, situation.
So tell everybody where you are on Mentor Avenue.
So we're right on Mentor Avenue. We're right across from Marshalls and Old Navy. And then the address, I'm sorry, I'm a little weak on the address.
That's okay.
But I think 7346 Mentor Avenue. We're in the Midland Plaza, and we're family owned. So.
Family owned. And what are your hours?
We are open 7 days a week. We're open from 10 o'clock in the morning till 10 p.m. at night.
Okay. And you have an interesting background from your previous job. You did a lot of financials, and we've talked about that and how that's made such a difference in your operations. You were just saying to me now how much your business has increased. So what did you learn from that you want to pass on to others and how to increase their sales?
It's always been taught that you have to learn how to sell and manage pencils before you start moving on to other things. That's what was taught to me a long time ago. To understand the concept of business projections, to actually not only have a plan, but to put it in a spreadsheet and see the profitability of your plan in any kind of scenario. There's plenty of assets out there to help. I'm out here to help as well for restaurants that need help. I've done this 20-some years, and I know profitability schematics, and that's basically it.
What kind of other things besides pizza do you offer here at Revolution?
We have lobster mac and cheese. We have like a lobster pizza. I learned that from my travels in Portland, Maine. I was able to replicate a pizza that I really enjoyed in Portland. We also have ribs, wings. Wings are very popular. Cheesecakes. We get our own cheesecakes from Cheesecake Factory. Chocolate cakes and all that kind of fun stuff. So we have a full variety of menu. We have over 27 specialty pizzas, and I have a really, really good team that helps me execute on all levels. So, that's basically it. Well,
that was going to be my other question. So as far as employees, you guys are rolling along. You're doing okay.
Yeah, people work for people. I mean, that's the number one thing. If the core people that I have work for me, I don't have turnover because either our hiring selection has been really good and we reward our people the best we can possibly do. And we include them in all the charitable things we do. We include them any kind of perks. People work for people, so I've been very well on turnover.
And we've talked about Grubhub and DoorDash, and how have you been able to manage that? Because we were talking before that a lot of businesses don't really understand the profitability of that and the fact that you could be losing money, you'd be cutting your profits too close to offer that service. But you said you found a little way around that and it's still working well and making your customers happy.
Yeah, DoorDash is inevitable. I mean, during the COVID, they spent millions and billions of marketing dollars to make sure that they were one of the premier selections for food delivery and it still maintains today. Now, as far as if I have like a $7 pizza and I sell it for DoorDash for $7, I'm already down 30%. So that doesn't help me pay you, doesn't help me pay my drivers, or the cost of getting the food in. So I was scratching my head, and of course spreadsheets came to mind. And I obviously took all my menu items, listed on a spreadsheet, marked it up by 32%, and then that enabled me to keep the platform going as far as that goes. So therefore, I am feeding the people who need DoorDash, but I'm also not taking a loss to that aspect. So I had to use my head because the first couple months in Willowick, we took about $9,000 to $10,000 loss because I didn't understand or I didn't take time to learn.
Okay.
And that's imperative because these platforms, if you're not on these platforms, you're missing out on sales. But if you're not managing these platforms, you're not managing your bottom line. So
So it's work. So you're making it work.
Yes, you know, trial and error, hitting the walls. Yes, we eventually made it work, and you know, it's not optimal. We have a delivery service ourselves. We have drivers ourselves, but you know, some people, it's not let's go to a restaurant. They say let's go DoorDash, and when that happens, you have to manage that as well, and you have to incorporate that in your business, or you're basically going to lose out on potential customers. And it's also a little marketing too. It does cost, but it's marketing to people who wouldn't normally go to your restaurant. So it's a caveat in that situation.
Okay, and then we were talking a little bit also as well about your kids, and you were saying their different aspirations and things that they're involved in currently. And as we were going through that, I mentioned that we're having a lot of succession planning issues here in Lake County. A lot of the kids don't want to take over their parents' businesses, and you feel like you might be in the same position way down the road sometime, unless one of the kids changes their mind.
That's correct. You know, my daughter goes to Lakeland. She's a junior at North. She's in an accelerated program, so she goes to Lakeland. She comes up here after school, brings me coffee, and then works 4 or 5 hours. But their interests are not in the, like you said, they're not in the food industry. Their interests are elsewhere. So having said that is, you know, every year I do a prospectus on where the company stands, where the company's going. Even though we're a small company, because we have 5 restaurants combined, I want everyone to know where we're at. And as far as succession goes, I was very blessed to have my son, or not my son, my business partner, Eric. He manages the malls. His son is very interested in moving to the next level. So having said that is, you know, as an owner, we incorporate percentages into his working bonus. So eventually he'll have a huge percentage when I'm old and gray and, you know, can't do this anymore.
Yes. So you do have other locations besides these 2 here in Lake County?
Correct. So we're Papa Mangia Restaurants Group, and obviously Revolution Pizza is 100% owned by us. We operate in the Villa Fresh Italian Kitchen in Menor Mall. We operate the Villa Fresh Italian Kitchen and own it in Great Northern Mall. And we operate the Villa Fresh Italian Kitchen in Grove City, Pennsylvania at Grove City Premium Outlets. So I had to kind of do that to sustain, because all the people who work for me now worked for me when I laid them off after the COVID. So I had to run fast and hard to sustain the salaries that they were making and to try to make it, you know, a good situation where they wouldn't lose out. So knock on wood, we're doing real well, and we anticipate a huge year coming forward.
So what is your most popular pizza?
Most popular pizza would be our traditional, because a lot of people are traditional, would be our deluxe. You know, sausage, pepperoni, green peppers, onions, mushrooms, banana peppers. People are pretty mainstay in that kind of pizza. We also offer a meat stuffed pizza, which is ham, sausage, pepperoni, meatballs, and it's giant calzone. It's layered like a pie. We cut it like a pie, and it's got a top shell and a bottom shell. A lot of hungry men like that, and women for the football games. So, and especially wings.
Okay. And what about your future? Do you have any other plans to open in any other locations, or you think you're good with managing the 3 that you have, the Villa Pizzas, and then your 2 Revolutions?
For right now, my old boss, who from Italy, for my old company, said, you know, Ralph, you got 5 restaurants, 5 fingers, that's enough. So I said, okay, you know, but it doesn't mean that we're not investing in Lake County and looking at other opportunities, you know, that we can get into. We want to widen our portfolio beyond food, so we're not just stuck into the food industry. And we have, we're working with our accountant, Andrew Summit.
He's a chamber member as well. Yeah,
he's my #1 guy in the world, and he helps me with diversifying my portfolio into real estate and some other aspects as well. So, kudos to Andrew.
Wonderful. Anything else you want us to know about Revolution Pizza?
No, we're family owned, and if it doesn't look 100%, we don't serve it. And if anybody ever has a problem, we fix it immediately. We don't want to have people have bad food, and we didn't start this for people to have bad food. And we don't want to ever get big enough where the owners or the family can't make the food, because the small conversations, the personal touch, it's good. and we really like that. It's part of our foundation.
Wonderful. Again, to all you small businesses out there, if you have any questions, I've been in other meetings with Ralph, and he's more than willing to sit down with you and help and guide any advice that you may need. He's here to help. That's one of his #1 things in life is he loves to help people.
I do. And I've opened 123 restaurants from coast to coast for my other company that I worked for before. So I know the procedures. If anybody needs help, I can get these things open in 4 or 5 weeks at the most. So, that we're just all here together, and I'm very happy to be part of the chamber.
Well, thank you, Ralph, for being with us today, and thank you for being a chamber member and giving the nice shout out to Andrew. Maybe he'll knock a couple dollars off your bill. I'll call him and see what he says.
Yeah.
Thank you again.
I appreciate it. Thank you.